you're always getting positive feedback from people around you. So people are always saying, fair play to you, or, well, one thing people say is, they're terrible, aren't they? You say, who? And they say, teenagers. And it's like, so you're always having fun with people, and people, it's like having a baby or a dog. So if you're picking up litter, people want to talk to you, and it gives you a sort of a role in society. So I would always say that picking up litter is magic, and it unlocks all sorts of magical things happen when you start picking litter. So I'd say anyone who doesn't, if they're a bit lost or they don't know what to do, or I'd say get a picker-upper and pick up litter, and you'll find cool things start to happen. It's a magical activity. Well, I was out one day walking on the beach with my little dog Frosty, and we saw this thing flapping around on the ground, flip, flap, and Frosty went nuts. We went over, and it was a seagull, and it was all caught up in fishing line, the really strong plastic fishing line. It was horrible, and it couldn't fly. So we managed to free the seagull, and as it just before it flew off, it did something I always say very rude, and it pecked my finger really hard, and then it flew off into the sky, and I'm left standing there with Frosty and my finger bleeding, and then the seagull flew back, and it flew back around in the sky, and it flew right by me, and as it flew by me, it said, "Patrick, do something about the litter!" Like that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I said to Frosty, "Did you hear that?" Nothing. And then I went back to that exact place the next day, and on the ground in the same place, and I could tell it was the same place because of my blood on the ground, there was a picker-upper that one of the council guys had left behind. So I picked it up, and then I started litter picking. And every day I would do a little bit of litter picking, and I kind of became obsessed with litter picking, and I couldn't go for a walk without litter picking, and I'd pick all the time. And then a lady walked past me one day, I knew her, and she said, "Do you think you're going to clean the whole world up like that, Patrick?" And I said, "No, I'm not, but I'm going to clean this little bit up." So then I thought, is there a way of actually increasing my personal impact to spread out more and to have more litter picking going on? So then I thought, okay, well, I'm an educational writer. Who are going to be the best people at litter picking? Who would find litter picking most fun? I thought, oh my goodness, it's the people I already write for are the people, because they're fascinated with tools. 6 to 9-year-olds, they love responsibility, they love a high-vis vest, and they are going to be the people who are most likely, and there's tons of them, and they're refreshed all the time, and they're in these organizations around the country called schools. So it was so obvious when I twigged that this was what meant to happen. And that's how Picker Pals began. My name is Patrick Jackson. I am a Dublin-based educational author. I like to write stories for kids about litter-picking adventures and to motivate people to try and make the world a little bit better in my own way. Picker Pals is based on the Picker Pack, which is a bag. It's a little rucksacky kind of bag that contains all the tools that you need for a litter-picking adventure. So that bag is held up by the teacher usually once a week, but sometimes every few days, and the teacher says, "Who wants to bring home the Picker Pack?" And the kids go nuts because they all want to be the one child that takes home the Picker Pack. Craig is the hero of Picker Pals, and he's a crab, and he appears in our first storybook called Picker Power, where he goes with his friend Pierre the lobster down to the beach at Hopetown, and they go on a litter picking adventure. So Craig was turned into a puppet by a good friend of mine, Dougie, who made this wonderful puppet, and the puppet goes around on the Picker Pals Roadshow and visits classrooms, and then I pass it around to all the kids. The kids enjoy playing with it, and one little boy actually burst into tears when I brought Craig in because he was overwhelmed with emotion at meeting Craig finally. It was a very touching moment that he'd met his hero. This is the Cloak of Hoth, which is made from an old curtain and a collection of, I think, about 1,000 pieces of debris which I collected off the beach. So obviously most of the things I collected, bottles and cans, cigarette butts, bottle tops, fishing gear, all sorts of horrible things. But sometimes you find something a bit curious or interesting, and I then stick that on the cloak. It's very heavy and getting heavier all the time. So I do have a crown as well. Shall we go out? See what happens.
Hey!
I love the buzz you get out of being the special guest in a school where you're only there for 2 hours and you can go in and show off and have fun with the kids and put on the cloak and put the cloak on the teacher and do a bit of sort of theatre around the puppets or the story. So I like being a visitor. I like turning up and having fun and then moving on. After Pick a Pals had worked really well in one classroom, and then the next step was another organisation funding the growth of the programme to 10 classrooms. At that point, then obviously your mind goes, hang on a sec, if we could do 100 classrooms. And that's what happened. So we went from 1 to 10 to 200. And then it attracted the interest of the government, who gave us enough to do 1,000 classrooms. Pick a Pals has now reached 5,000 classrooms in Ireland from that original old bag that my mum made. I think we're up to 800 tons of litter, which has been taken off the streets and parks and playgrounds and beaches of the world. So we are having a real impact. I love the fact that now when I drive around Ireland, for example, every village pretty much I go past has got a national school, a primary school, which is probably doing Pick a Pals. And when I go into a classroom, you see all the art that the kids have done, drawing the characters, and that is amazingly lovely to feel that just from doing the next thing over and over and over again. And so every morning I wake up feeling amazing, because there's a whole bunch of things that you think, okay, and it's like a puzzle. You're putting together a puzzle that's got people in it, it's got cartoon characters in it, it's got, software systems, it's got all sorts of things that are all working together with a goal of having children learn and enjoy that experience of doing the program. So it works. For me, personally, it's changed my life totally. It changed the way I see myself in the world, and I can keep going at this until I drop down.
How did it change how you saw yourself in the world?
I suddenly realized I could contribute something that was of real value. And I understood that what I was doing was of a real value. And that changed my life, without sounding too pompous, but it meant I feel that I'm doing something that's worthwhile. I love the sort of the publishing elements of it. I love the books, I love the stories and the songs and the Zoom calls and the teacher's guide, and I like working on, I like scissors, I like Prit, I like making stuff. So it's all come together, but it's all focused in a direction. It's given me a direction, and that really my only mission is the next school, the next classroom, the next people to do that. And if my entire life was just to get a whole bunch of kids out litter picking with their families and having fun doing that, then I'll die very happy. I'll die happy anyway, actually, probably.